All right, we are live. We got another Counter-Strike show. This in ESL Pro League. Continue on with the entire tournament that's been going on for the past about week or so. Got some
We're in the
interesting
Group B
games.
now.
Yeah, we're in the Group B. I've had some interesting games. Some teams that just have been underperforming, teams overperforming. But we got Zane back.
Hey
We got
guys.
over here to help break us down and talk about everything that's been going on in the tournament. So before we jump into all the games and everything, Zane, what do you think about this? How do you feel about the tournament so far? If you want to jump into Group A, talk about that a little bit. And I'm going to go share out the stream to my bunch of different Twitter, Discord, all that stuff. So
Yeah. So obviously, for talking Group A, I was a little disappointed in Spirit. I was expecting them to do better, honestly. They had so much potential. I remember their Katowice run. It was amazing. They have Dexter, Chopper, Mir. And they just have so many good players. And they didn't perform that well. They went 1-4. Only got that win against Bad News Bears, who obviously went 0-5 in the group. Estrella showed potential though. Lucky looked on point. His deagle was amazing all throughout the series. I mean, that man would pull in a deagle, and I was like, okay, it's game over for the other team. Obviously, Heroic topped. No surprise there. I feel like Ents could have done better. They almost got it in against Heroic, and they would have been 4-0 or 4-1 then, but it didn't happen. We're talking Group B. I was surprised to see OG on top, but honestly, with the way G2 and VP are playing, I'm not entirely surprised because those are the two teams obviously OG's gone up against, and both of them have been severely underperforming.
yeah,
And yes, Sinners was a great surprise against G2. I was like, wow.
we'll get into that in just a sec.
Okay.
So is Heroic the team to beat? I don't know. I don't know right now. And the only reason why I'm not entirely sure whether or not Heroic is the team to beat is we have still yet to see Navi and we still have yet to see Gambit. I want to see the form that they're in. Right now, Heroic, yeah, I would say that they're the top team, and OG might be up there as well for so far in terms of that. But
Gambit's going to be a strong one coming up in Group D. That's going to be. It's always they're back online.
Yeah. Gambit's the scary. I feel like Gambit is the scariest team right now for all this, just because they are one of the best online teams we've seen throughout
so
this
is
era.
Heroic, though. So we'll see.
Heroic did come up on that. So and keep in mind, Heroic has not lost a ESL Pro League match in over 2 Pro Leagues. So
yeah. They didn't drop on last series or last Pro League.
No, they went perfect through the last Pro League.
Undefeated. I remember that.
Yeah. I remember betting against them a bunch, so that one kind of hurt. But we get to jump into tomorrow's games. We'll go ahead and start looking at them. First game of the day: Virtus.pro and Sinners. And Virtus.pro is favored in this one, -167, 128 on the other side for Sinners. So decent sized favorites for Virtus.pro. Do you think they get their first win tomorrow?
I don't know. They've been looking really off. I'll be honest. Going back first match, it was just Nico, honestly. And I know he does always take a lot of space on his team, so it's not like you can just say, oh, it was just Nico fragging, everyone else was doing nothing, because they are giving him a lot of space to do what he does. But I don't know. There's a disconnect in the team right now, and they'll have to figure it out if they want to succeed in the tournament.
Yeah, I will say, as my players are scrolling across the bottom, I don't believe in Virtus.pro right now. And they showed me nothing to believe in them. Yes, they did win one map, 16-13, against forze to help push it to a 3-mapper there. But other than that, a 16-7 and a 16-12. And I will say that 16-12 wasn't necessarily close. They got a couple. They got a couple rounds at the end, and
that was about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was about it. And then on the first day against OG, 16-11 and 16-6. And I will say that 16-11 wasn't competitive either. I think the score really doesn't show how much of a blowout those two games were. And Virtus.pro has showed me absolutely nothing for me to want to go and back them. On the other side, we have Sinners who, yeah, they lost to Complexity after beating G2, but
they beat G2. That's still, with G2 off, that's still a great accomplishment, even. And they looked really coordinated. They had amazing setups going in. I was greatly surprised.
No VP Sinners could be a one-win wonder. I don't think so. Because even if we do look, they beat G2 big enough on day one. Then Sunday they went. They did get 2-0 swept by Complexity, but those maps were heavy competitive, 16-12 and 16-14. So I feel like Sinners have just showed a lot more life in this tournament, and I think if
they're looking like the better team right now.
Yeah,
being honest.
And I think if Virtus.pro loses, they're eliminated or pretty close to, because Virtus.pro will still have to face Complexity and G2. And I don't think they would have to win both of that. No, I think if they finish under 500, they're done. So, Virtus.pro, this is a win or go home type game.
Yeah,
and
it's super disappointing for them because they definitely have a lot of potential. You see those top tier. Honestly, all my eyes are on Kinder. James obviously had his peak form a while back. I think he's kind of fell off since. I really want. I was tweeting this the other day. I really want Kinder to go to a great team because he's definitely has a great future in Counter-Strike. But I just don't know that it's with VP.
I don't think Yakinda leaves because he's been one of their best players. I think Sanji has to go.
Sanji?
If they want to have any type of success, and if Yakinda leaves, where's he gonna go? To be honest, Gambit doesn't need him. Virtus.pro, Navi doesn't need him.
Yeah.
And then
Navi could throw something around. You never know.
I mean, if Navi goes to like electronic IGLing, and then they remove Boomage, bring in Yakinda, that could be a dominant team.
Yeah,
but why would they want to mess with their lineup right now? They just took down they just took down the big tournament, and they're not gonna.
Plus, roles of clash with Bit and Yakinda, it just wouldn't work out.
Yeah. Detroit Lenny's taking notes. Get it. Yeah, but I for this one, it's got to be Sinners. Until Virtus.pro shows me something, I'm not putting my money on them.
I agree.
That's all it. Next game, we'll do OG and forze. This is the 10 o'clock game for tomorrow. OG, sizable favorites, minus 222 against forze, a plus 165 run back. What do you think for this one?
So obviously OG won against VP and G2, but I don't know if that's necessarily them being more dominant or VP and G2 just being like not as hot as they normally are. Yes, there's some of it's OG, but I still don't have them as a top team. I could see this going to map 3 and being a really close series because forze are normally a very slept-on team. They did really good against Cole and Virtus.pro, even though both of them are 3-map series. I could see that going to a third game and potentially going either way.
All right, so me and you have two different ideas of this one. I just think OG dominates again. I don't think it's that the other teams played bad. I mean, they did, but I think OG put themselves in the perfect situations. You had Alexi B has been calling a fantastic tournament, and they've been having a lot of good reads, and I don't think it stops. forze has been solid. Yes, they've won their first 2 matches, very competitive matches. OG's matches have not been competitive. 2-0ing both Virtus.pro and G2.
I know OG has what it takes. I just don't know if they're like gonna be able to show it against forze because forze are looking like a better team than both VP and G2 right now, which is kind of sad to be honest.
Yeah, it really is because I was all over G2 to win this group, and that's not gonna happen now. It's gonna be happen. We're gonna have a group where the number 3 team in the world, number 5 team in the world, and one of them doesn't make it through. As crazy as that is, we're gonna see. I think we see OG make it. I think OG tops the group. forze, I think, is going to be is up there as well, and I think it's either going to be Complexity or Sinners or the Virtus.pro G2, depending on how those teams are going. I'm still not a believer in complexity. We'll go over that one in a minute. But for this one, I got OG sweeping. I just think they can continue their dominance. And I really don't see many people stopping them. Nico is coming out of freaking nowhere.
Yeah.
And he's been
playing
play awesome.
Any role in the game.
Yeah, which not gonna pat myself on the back or anything, but he was one of my low down draft picks in our league. So I have Nico in this tour. Yeah. Unfortunately, I have Hunter and Almanac who haven't done shit, but but Nico's been solid. Flames has been solid. Alexi B calling a great tournament. Mantu has a 1.44 rating this event so far through the first 2 games. Very
crazy.
All the players are contributing the right way, and it's really working out for OG. And I think it keeps on going tomorrow.
Definitely.
All right, Nick took OG money line and -1.5. All right, Sinners money line and +1.5. Okay, and then G2 money line and -1.5. Cool. Detroit Lenny says OG is taking it all. I mean,
we'll see. Can they beat Gambit? Can they beat any groups? I mean, whoever comes out of C is going to be strong. It's going
to be. Well, I'm not really worried about Group C. It's Group D that I'd be worried about. I think Group D is going to be the strongest group to come from because you're going to get tight competition from Gambit.
Besides Entropic and Team 1. Those Team 1 maybe, but Entropic, they're gone.
No, I think Entropic would be better than Team 1. Team 1 is
I can see Team 1 taking Furia. That's about it.
You know what? We'll go over this one when we get to Group D and everything, but Furia is going to have a fill-in. Honda's not playing in the tournament.
Drops, right?
Yeah, drop from the Academy League, so that should definitely be interested. But I don't know. I really don't know with that team right now. We'll see. They'll have time to prac and everything, so we'll definitely be able to tell soon. Yes, OG to win ESL Pro League. What Nick said. Yeah, exactly.
OG won their first event this year. I don't see them taking this entire tournament, but that's just me. We shall see.
I mean, I still think they have a shot to win Group A. Oh, sorry, Group B. If they win tomorrow, I think they win it.
Yeah, but I could see them taking down complexity, especially with Mantu versus NATO. I mean, NATO's a strong offer.
Yep. And then OG will only have to play Sinners. They have to play Sinners and Complexity. So they'll get the big 2 teams out of the way first with Virtus.pro and G2 that they already beat. And now they get Forze, and then they get Complexity and Sinners to finish out. So I definitely think OG wins tomorrow. They win the group.
Yeah.
But we get the final game for tomorrow. And I think this one should be fun as well. It's G2 and Complexity. I don't really know what's going on with G2 right now.
It's really sad to see.
For this event, Nico's going off, but
that's it.
Yeah, he's got a Nico 1.3 rating for this group for the first 2 games, and then a 1.06 for Hunter. And then 0.81, 0.8, and 0.76 for next Almanac and Jax. We're just not getting anything from anyone else besides the Serbians or technically Nexus Serbian. It's Bosnia
the Kovac cousins.
Yeah, the Kovac cousins. Yeah, we're not getting anything besides from them, and that's very concerning.
Honestly, I feel like if they haven't been utilizing Jax the proper way this tournament. He's the entry guy. He's the one that needs to make space for those 2 Kovacs to do their thing on T side. And if they have that, Thomas, if they have that, you're good. If they have that and they can use Jax in that way to open up for the other guys, I think they can definitely win the next 2 matches. But it just hasn't looked that way at all. It's been so no team play at all. It's just the 2 cousins like doing their thing and everyone else sitting there.
And you can't win maps 2-on-5. That you really need, and it's not like Nex has been calling great games either. Yeah. He's been having problems with that.
There was a clip I saw of Nico yelling at him or something, right?
Oh yeah, I think Nico. Yeah. Because I mean, when you lose your first 2 games after coming runner-up in the previous tournament and having a really good run and be like, we're having a good future, and then all of a sudden you drop the first 2 games, especially one against Sinners, which coming into this, we were looking at it and being like, all right, so Sinners will finish last. G2 and Virtus.pro on top. OG, we're not sure.
We were talking about G2 as possibly winning the whole tournament, and now they're not even going to make it out of groups.
Well, they need to start by winning tomorrow, and then G2 will end up getting forze and Virtus.pro to finish out the tournament. So I think it'll really dictate. Tomorrow will dictate everything. I think this group can be over really quickly if you see G2 lose tomorrow and Virtus.pro lose tomorrow.
For sure.
That being said, even though G2 is 0-2, I have them to sweep tomorrow. And the main thing is I still don't trust Complexity. They had a solid game. They had a solid game yesterday, or 2 days ago, last game, when they took out
Sinners.
Thank you. I clicked on the wrong matchup again. Yeah, they took out Sinners, and then I mean they haven't really done much since with Complexity. So I'm not really sure what we're gonna get out of them. I know that NATO is still standing in. And losing config
with was huge.
Yeah, losing config is absolutely devastating to them.
S-Tag looked great. I was honestly going, before I knew about config, I was thinking Complexity would be a high-tier contender in this group. And even
100%.
They had the firepower, they had S-Tag now, and I was sold. But then, fortunate for them, config had his injury, and what can you do?
The thing is, I introduced Counter-Strike and esports to Detroit Lenny, and now he's trying to speak esports with us. So he's just trying to have fun. But I'm just really skeptical. Looking at Complexity's players, Blame F, really solid, 1.26 rating,
high flag in IGL right there.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they need. S-Tag, as you mentioned, 1.22. JKS, 1.09. Not terrible. Poison, 1.06. Not bad. And then NATO's got an under 1, but I'm not worried about him. He's a stand-in. He's got a 0.92, so he's close up there with him.
Yeah, for becoming a stand-in and coming in a week before this tournament, he's doing great. It's so hard not knowing anything about how a team plays and how a team, because Blame F has his guys under lock. They know what to do in every situation, and NATO coming in had no idea what any of the protocols on that team were.
I mean, he was practicing with them a little bit before the tournament, so but you can only get so much practice and get in there.
I had an interview with Blame one time, and he was telling me how he has his team, they know what to do in every situation because they practice every single situation. He's insane IGL, thinks of every single possibility.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just not knowing that is killer for them when they have NATO.
Oh, yeah. He Blame F, I will say, is a top 3 IGL in the world right now. I feel like Nex has gone downhill. The only people I could see... the only people I could see up there with him at the moment is Glave. But, I mean, Glave, you have to have him up there. And then... maybe Cadian, but that's pretty much all I got.
I see Hobbit as number 1 right now because he took 4 random guys on Gambit and brought him to.
I mean, he hasn't been doing bad either. But I do like.
He's definitely a great IGL. Yeah.
But
those Danish IGLs are amazing.
They really are. One more thing to mention with this Complexity team is. Last game versus Sinners, we saw Poison pick up the AK a lot, and then NATO grab the AWP. What do you think about that? I mean, I know that Poison has been a big AWP guy, and he's one of the best scoped players in the world. He picks up the AK now, and he's like the entry fragger that they need. He's the new config per se.
Yeah.
And do you think
honestly,
what do you think?
I think they needed that. NATO's definitely a great opper. I've seen his past matches before, and I don't think he would be able to pull off that config role. But you saw Poison after he had an emergency surgery earlier this year. I think it was. Ever since then,
I think it was last year. Yeah.
Last year, well, ever since then, his off's been not as good as it was before. You saw him hitting insane flicks before then, and after that, he just slowed down. So I think it might not be a permanent role, but I definitely like seeing him in that role because he's willing to go at it for his team, which is great.
Yeah, and the best thing is that team chemistry and being able to, I may be a really good opper, but if my team needs me to go and entry frag for a little bit and I can do it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do what I can to help this team win because right now everybody's sleeping on complexity. And they should be because they shouldn't go far. But they wanted to prove something by 2-0ing Sinners. I don't know if complexity gets another win this entire group, but at least they got one win under their belt. And I think that this team is solid, but I still have G2 to sweep tomorrow.
We'll see how G2 does. I'm interested to see that.
It poisoned the. I don't know about that. I really don't.
Before his emergency surgery, I would say yes, but after that, he just hasn't looked the same. It's really sad to see.
He really hasn't, and it's quite sad. If you look at his stats from before and after, they're significantly different. And this team, it shows in this team's results. How obviously they've had to deal with a crap ton of lineup changes throughout that time.
Team's cursed is what people are calling it.
They really had ever since that blast fall or blast spring win last year. They've had so many
left, and
then afterwards Obo left, and ever since
then Rush wasn't playing well because Obo wasn't there because they were really close, and then it just spiraled out from there.
Hey, and I will say this team is a hell of a lot better. When Config comes back, definitely. And I would love to see the Blame F, JKS, Poison, Estetag Config team. If it was those five, this team would be able to, with how everybody else is playing, this team would be a contender to win the entire event.
Do you think Config's going to be the same after he comes back from his injury?
I don't think it's going to take as much effect on him as it did Poison because he runs the AK. I mean, it's not going to. It shouldn't really. The real thing is that Config will need to know with a wrist injury like what he's got that he needs to take it easy and he needs to not push it because I have a feeling he'll get everything done and he'll try to push it early and then hurt himself again and he's got to just step back, watch a bunch of demos.
I saw on his Twitter he was saying, "Oh yeah, he announced like he had an injury and surgery." He was like, "Yeah, I've been playing Counter-Strike with it for a while. I've been blowing on these tier 1 teams with like a broken wrist." I was like, okay. He's still going on it. I respect it, but you gotta take the time and get over that.
Yeah, once he comes back, I think this team can go up.
For sure.
They take out Config, take out NATO, put him back in Config. This team can be honestly a top 5 team, but without him, I just don't see it right now. But those are all the matches for tomorrow. Did we want to take a look maybe a little bit at the other 2 groups before we head out again?
For sure, let's do it.
All right, real quick, we can go look over Group C. You got Navi, FaZe, Big, Mouse, Evil Geniuses, and Fnatic. This will start in like a couple of days. What days does this one start?
This is the 27th.
Friday. It will start on Friday.
Friday.
And then Group D will start Wednesday, September 1st. But looking at this one real quick, obviously we're all going to pick Navi to win the group. But is there any sleeper teams in there that we think could steal it away from Navi? Because I know Navi's not a good
they're not a good online team. Same with FaZe, honestly. FaZe, they're on win or they're not it. I'm really looking forward to seeing Fnatic post-roster change. They picked up Mezzi and they picked up Alex. I think we talked about this a little bit before. Both of them are relatively unproven with the whole pass, but that's going to be interesting. Big's going to be another one to look at. Gate on there. Now Sports, obviously, if they have a good run, they could put up some great results. They're going FaZe, Navi, EG, Big, so definitely have a chance. And I just really hope EG don't exit another tournament without a win.
Oh, I'm expecting EG to be able to get a win. And I expect them to get a win against Fnatic, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I
I agree. Mouse are a sleeper team though. They're definitely slept on a lot, and they can put up a great. They do have great form, and if Rops is going off, BMOS is going off, then
yeah, it Rops, and then you got to get more out of Frozen as well. He's got to be the number 2 there. But looking at the
even Dexter could swap that. He was a high fragging IGL all the time in Renegades. That's what he's known for.
He might be the wild card as well. But looking at the betting odds for this group, obviously Navi, huge favorites, -200 favorites to win the group. Look at
what are FaZe at?
FaZe are the second best at +350.
I don't see FaZe winning.
I don't either. So. I will say I kind of like what Nick said with Mouse Sports. They're a +600 to win the group. I really don't mind that, especially if they can have a solid run. They're a decent online team. They proved it. And Navi's not a good line, so there might be some value on that +600 line from Mouse Sports. Big 1,400, Evil Geniuses 1,400, and Fnatic 2,500 for Group C. So I might be interested in Mouse Sports. But
yeah, no, definitely have the potential to do it, but we'll see if they actually. I mean, they're playing EG, so that's a free win for them already, right?
I guess we'll see. I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah.
And then Group D, we get Gambit, who's a -167, Nip 350, Liquid 500, Furia 900, Entropec 1,200, Team 1 a +10,000.
Jeez. Entropec are rated higher than Team 1 then. I did not expect that.
Team 1 is going to be your bad news bears of Group D. I really don't think they get a single win in that group because I feel like out of all the groups, Group D is going to be the toughest. Gambit, very, very strong online team. Very strong. Nip, they're going to have a little bit more time that they all get to really play with each other and really get the symmetry down and the chemistry down for that one. Liquid's always a big question mark going to the tournaments.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Furia,
Gambit, I should put Furia. That Nip opening match is going to be a testament because I don't know if they beat Gambit. There's like a 10% chance, but I don't really see it happening. So if they win that Nip match, I can see them like second place in the group. Apart from that, that's it for them.
Yeah, with Furia, and then look at Furia. They have their new guy in. I'm not sure. I'm not really high on them anymore.
Yeah. I could
Entropec will be a big question mark. I feel like Entropec would kind of be like forze from this group.
Yeah.
So
they're ex Hardwegian, right? The guys from Hardwegian. Is that who's on there?
I am honestly really not entirely sure. Entropec.
I think Crad was Hardwegian and.
Yeah, this is the one with Ethan, Forrester, Crade, Lackey, and Nickelback.
Yes, that's some ex Hardwegian there.
Yeah,
they were good in their prime, but then they're also convicted a lot for that coaching bug with the coach. So
yeah, unfortunately, you really can't do much with that.
Yeah, I didn't know who was on the team to be honest, but looking at it, I could see them taking definitely Team 1, maybe Furia if they haven't had time to get used to drops in the academy league or he's not up to par with them.
Yeah, honestly, for the standings in that one, I'm expecting Gambit to win. I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of it we see Gambit at a 5-0.
Yeah, the question will be Nip or Liquid.
The question will be Nip, Liquid, or Furia.
Yeah,
it depends. It could honestly, Furia can come into this, and Drop can be fantastic, and just
I have
be.
No idea. I remember. Yeah, sorry.
No, I'm just not sure what we're really going to be getting out of him because Drop has been part of this team. He just got picked up. Looking at some of his statistics, past 3 months, rating of a 1.06. Keep in mind he was playing in the Academy League, and he really hasn't put up that much stats. So I really don't have much on him.
Is this a permanent change, or is this just him standing in for Honda?
I'm not sure. I am not honestly sure.
I saw the name, and then that's all I saw.
I'm pretty sure there should be an art. Okay, yeah, there's an article here, and I'll go ahead and screen share it. Go with this. Open this up. We'll throw this on the stream. Furia replaces Honda with Drop. Fury member of the Academy League got called up to the main roster. We'll be promoting him to the main roster and head of the thing. The 17-year-old will take the place of Honda, who recently replaced Junior. After
search for a permanent fifth is still ongoing. So it's not permanent. Okay. that's what
I mean, honestly, we'll see how this goes. I already know who I would, if I was Furia, I would be interested in going and grabbing, because he's Brazilian himself and he's no longer on a team. Maybe look at Cold Zero. That could be an interesting pickup.
You could see Fur. I mean, there was like a crazy report of like Liquid roster changes. I hope that doesn't happen, because I saw some crazy news about, like, I hope this is fake. It was like Fur going to Liquid, and I was like, please no.
Oh God, no! Didn't he have a little stint on Liquid? Correct me if I'm wrong.
He's played with on SK. He played with both Stewie and Spawn, obviously. I don't think he was ever on Liquid though.
You know what? That's right, because he played with Stewie. He didn't play on Liquid.
Yeah,
that's what I was confused. Yeah,
I really hope that doesn't happen, because I really like Liquid as is. They definitely have the potential to do it.
They do have a good thing. Out of curiosity, I'm just teams. Fur played for Luminosity, SK, and MIBR is the big three.
Which was all the same core.
Which was all the same team.
Yeah.
I thought he played somewhere in NA for a little bit, but I guess I was wrong.
Nope. Brazil forever.
Yeah. The Brazilian teams they're fun to watch. I will say that.
Definitely.
And the fact that we do get 2 Brazilian teams. I forgot. Team 1 is a Brazilian
team. 1 is Brazilian.
But honestly, they're not going to do much.
Russian.
No, they're not. Are they actually? Russian, no, they're Brazilian.
It's our region.
Team 1. Entropic is
Team 1 Brazilian. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say they have Maliki, PRT, Mald, who is Guatemalan. Pistado and XNS. So you might be able to get a little out of them. I don't think they get a win, but yeah, Entropec is the Russians, and then you got Lackey, who's Kyrgyzstan. So other than that,
I want to see if it's like him, because I know Honda, his first game on Fury he was like super standout, and then after that he was kind of lackluster. We'll see if Drops are the same way, or if he can. I know he did really good at We Play Academy, because that was just finished a few weeks back.
Yeah. I'm playing your picks totally blind. Would love to get better understanding. Where do you watch? Twitch.tv/ESL CSGO. I can go ahead and grab you the link for that. And the games start at 7:30 a.m. They start at 10:45 and 2 o'clock. So all of them are there. This is showing reruns, but here's the link that you watch it from.
Where it is,
yeah, that's where I watch all my stuff, and that's the only spot that you can get it for the ESL stuff. I know when
it's not on YouTube.
Blast Premier has YouTube.
I know,
but unfortunately ESL and all those stuff does not. But that's where I get my stuff. That's where you can watch it, and I get most of my stats and stuff that I use for my handicapping is on hltv.org, and you can find everything over there. They have everything
all the stats,
yeah. But that pretty much wraps up the show. I'll go ahead and scroll through my plays again for tomorrow. For that Virtus.pro Sinners game, I'm going plus money. I'm grabbing Sinners plus 128. For this OG game, I'm taking OG to continue some dominance. I got them to sweep tomorrow. And for this G2 game, I'm G2 bounce back and 2-0 complexity tomorrow. I got them sweeping as well. And honestly, if you want to find Zane, there's his Twitter.
Check me out on Twitter.
Yeah.
If there's a game to watch tomorrow, it's definitely going to be OG versus forze. That's going to determine, honestly, who tops the group, in my opinion.
Yeah, I believe that one. I mean, we could. There's still 3 days left of this, and there's a lot of shakeup.
That's true.
This group can either be over tomorrow, or it could be exciting until the last day. But
I swear, I have to look at like Twitter to find out the different possibilities because there's so many like different outfits. There's so many factors. It's not just like number one in the group. It's so complicated.
It's definitely gonna be fun to see the rest of this group because this one is definitely very, very wonky. I think that's the best word to put it. But
because G2 and VP flopping, that was not something I was expecting.
It really isn't. It really isn't something I expected to see is for them to drop like that. But hey, tomorrow's a new day. They come out.
Yeah, we'll see.
And we'll see what goes on. But that should wrap it up for this stream. Once again, Zane on Twitter. Zane, is there anywhere else they could find you?
No, just Twitter.
Well, I didn't know didn't you say you write somewhere?
I currently write for Upcomer, but that's all linked to my Twitter. So
okay, everything's linked in his Twitter. Go ahead, check that out. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for the stream. I want to thank you guys all for watching, and
thanks for having me.
Of course, I'll be back on tomorrow night. Whenever you want, dude. Whenever you want. But I'll be back on tomorrow at 9 o'clock for another round of these of Group B for the fourth day of Group B, and I'll be live pretty much. If there's Counter-Strike games the next day, I'll be live for that night before. But that's going to do it for the stream. I want to thank you guys all for watching. Until next time, let's make some money.